Hello friends, welcome back. In the last two videos we learnt about the kinds of suits, jurisdiction of civil courts, plaints, written statements, pleadings generally, etc. etc. Friends, now today we are going to deal with Order 9 of CPC. The heading is as follows: Appearance of parties and consequence of non-appearance. My dear friends, there are 14 rules in this order, and these rules pertain to the plaintiff's failures or plaintiff's responsibility, and these rules pertain to the defendant, and these rules pertain to both the plaintiff and defendant. Okay friends, I have not discussed about rule 10 and rule 11 of order 9 because that is not so necessary. Okay friends, order 9 rule 1 says that on the day fixed in the summons of the defendant to appear before this court, both the parties shall appear before the court for hearing of the suit. This is rule 1 of order 9. Okay friends, order 2 says that if the plaintiff fails to pay the court fee or postal charges or fails to submit copies of plaint as required under order 7 rule 9 of CPC, the court shall dismiss the suit. The court shall dismiss the suit of the plaintiff. The proviso to rule 2 says that if notwithstanding, if the defendant appears, then the court shall not dismiss the suit. Okay friends, and rule 3 of order 9 says that if on the day fixed by the court, if neither party appears, the suit of the plaintiff shall be dismissed. Okay friends, rule 4 of order 9 says that if the suit of the plaintiff is dismissed under rule 2 or rule 3, the plaintiff can file a fresh suit on the same cause of action subject to the law of limitation, or the plaintiff can apply for setting aside the dismissal order made under rule 2 or rule 3 of order 9. Okay friends, rule 5 of order 9 says that if the plaintiff fails to apply within 7 days from the date of return of summons unserved on the defendant, the suit of the plaintiff shall be dismissed, and the plaintiff is at liberty to file a fresh suit, of course subject to the law of limitation. Okay friends, rule 6 of order 9 deals with both the defendant as well as the plaintiff. Rule 6 sub rule 1 clause A of order 9 says that if the defendant is served with the summons and he is absent on the day fixed by the court, then he shall be the suit shall be heard ex parte in the absence of the defendant. Okay friends, rule 6 sub rule 1 clause B says that if it is proved to the satisfaction of the court that the summons on the defendant was not served, then the court can order second summons to be served on the defendant. Or clause C of sub rule 1 of rule 6 of order 9 says that if the defendant was not given proper time, or the defendant was not served with summons in due time to appear before the court and answer the claim of the plaintiff, then the court can adjourn the matter to a further date. Okay friends, this is rule 6. 6 sub rule 2 says that the plaintiff shall pay the cost as ordered by the court for the postponement of the service of summons on the defendant. Okay friends, rule 7 says that if the defendant is set ex parte under rule 6, he can apply by showing sufficient cause to the satisfaction of the court to set aside the ex parte order passed against him, and it shall be deemed that he was present on the day when the court fixed the date. Okay friends, rule 8 of order 9 says that on the day fixed by the court, if the defendant appears and the plaintiff does not appear, and the defendant admits part of the claim or whole claim, then the court shall pass decree against the defendant in respect of the admission made by him. And if the defendant admits partly, the court shall dismiss the suit of the plaintiff in respect of the remainder of the claim. Okay, friends. Rule 9 says that if the suit of the plaintiff is dismissed under Rule 9, the plaintiff is prevented from filing a fresh suit on the same cause of action, but he can apply to set aside the dismissal order made against him under Rule 8 of CPC. Okay, friends. Rule 12 of Order 9 says that if the plaintiff or the defendant does not appear as ordered by the court on the day fixed, either the plaintiff or the defendant shall be subject to all the foregoing rules relating to the consequence of the non-appearance of the plaintiff and the defendant respectively. Okay, friends. That means the rules relating to plaintiff shall apply to the plaintiff. The rules relating to defendant shall apply to the defendant if he doesn't appear on the day so fixed by the court. Okay, friends. Rule 13 says that if the suit is decreed ex parte, that means under order Rule 6, the defendant remained ex parte and the court passed a decree. For that, the defendant can apply to set aside the ex parte decree passed against him by showing sufficient cause to the satisfaction of the court. Okay, friends. If the court feels that one defendant applies for setting aside the decree against him and it is not possible to keep the ex parte decree against all the defendants, then the court can set aside the ex parte decree against all the defendants or any of the defendants. Okay, friends. The provision to Rule 13 says that if there is an irregularity in serving of summons on the defendant and the defendant has knowledge about the date of hearing of the suit and he had enough time to appear and answer the claim of the plaintiff in the suit, then the court shall not set aside the ex parte decree against the defendant. Okay, friends. The explanation to Rule 13 says that if an appeal is preferred against the ex parte decree and the appeal has been disposed of on any other ground other than the ground that the appellate had withdrawn the suit, then the court shall not entertain application under Rule 13. Okay, friends. Rule 14 of Order 9 says that before setting aside the ex parte decree, the court shall give notice to the opposite party, that is the plaintiff or plaintiffs, as the case may be. Okay, friends. And simply we may say that pleadings are over or pleadings have not been over. In such circumstances, the court can resort to advocates or parties or courts can resort to Order 9. If his suit is dismissed for default or the defendant remained ex parte, okay, they can apply for, they can file fresh suits or the defendant can apply for setting aside the ex parte order passed against him under Rule 7, or he can apply for setting aside the ex parte decree passed against him under Rule 13. Okay, friends. Thank you. That's all for now.